Okay, I think we're live. So we'll wait a couple minutes here and get started with the 5 secret skills that every home-based and small business owner must know in order to build the business and life that they crave. And I'm very excited to talk about this today. So we'll wait a couple minutes, obviously, because it's not quite 1 o'clock yet. Welcome. So my name, if you don't know, is Anita Marcazzani. I am an executive coach. I'm also a licensed psychologist, and I specialize in working with leaders, business owners, and professionals. I help them grow their businesses, make more money, and increase the influence and expand the influence that they have on the world around them. So it's a very exciting career that I have, a little business that I've built up for myself. I'll tell you a little bit about myself here in a couple of seconds, but what I want to do is lay the groundwork that we're going to talk today about 5 secret skills that every small business and home-based business owner really has to know in order to grow the business and the life that they really want, that I know that you want. And I'm going to be very happy to reveal these secrets to you. They are secrets that I have uncovered myself through sometimes very painful process, and I hope to be able to help you, prevent you from having to endure the same pain I had to go through to figure some of this stuff out. So I've discovered this along the way in building my own coaching practice, and then certainly helping other people grow their businesses and make more money, have more influence in their lives. And so it's stuff that's proven, and it's very exciting. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm married, very happily married. I have 2 boys, ages 19 and 15, and 2 dogs. One puppy's actually very sick. We were up all night at the emergency vet with him, which is kind of sad, but I'm hoping he's stabilized now and is okay. So keeping our fingers crossed for him. Little Lincoln, if you say prayers, please say a prayer for him. Anyway, I have always wanted to be a psychologist as far back as I can remember. I was fascinated with human behavior. What made people do what they do? What made them change when they wanted to change? What are the factors associated with people, moving forward and grabbing more for themselves? I've always been fascinated with that. So once you know what the end point is that you want, it actually makes a lot of decisions very easy. So I went straight through through undergraduate into graduate school to get my PhD, which is what I knew I needed to do in order to be a psychologist. Is what I always wanted to do. The process slowed down a little bit for me along the way. When I was in graduate school, I started to have children, and and that you may know that kind of makes everything go a lot more slowly when you start introducing children into the mix. But over time, eventually, I did graduate, and I was on clinical faculty at the University of Maryland, Baltimore, which is a major teaching hospital. I built up a very big therapy practice. I was supervising all kinds of people and teaching at the medical school down there. I was very much living my dream, what my dream was my whole life. And I essentially woke up one morning and realized that I couldn't do it anymore, that I had burned out, and I was only 31 years old, and what I thought I wanted to do my entire life, I knew I could not do anymore. I was depleted, I was tired, and I was truly burned out. And it precipitated a crisis, a career crisis, like an early midlife crisis. Well, what most people probably go through when they're 20 or 22, I was delayed, because I guess I'm a delayed sort of person. I go through things at a later stage. But it was a real crisis for me, because I knew I just couldn't do anymore what I was doing, and it forced me to figure out what am I going to do with my life. And at the time, coaching was very trendy, and it seemed like to move into coaching was a very natural progression from what I was doing as a therapist. So I thought, well, maybe I'll just give this a go. And I did some specific training to learn how to not do therapy anymore and instead do coaching, because there's a pretty big difference between the 2 approaches. And I took a year to close down my therapy practice, or transfer it, I should say, over to other people. And I, started working on my coaching practice, and I haven't looked back ever since. I really love what I do. I kind of worried at the time that I would burn out on coaching like I burned out on therapy, and I haven't. I don't foresee that in the future. I think it's because this is a very energizing sort of field that I'm in, and I work with really incredible clients. I love my clients. I love my customers. I love serving them. and I love watching them grow and blossom and overcome their stuff and their obstacles. It's very inspiring to me every single day. So I think that's what prevents me from getting burned out. And along that lines, just so you know, one of the main driving forces behind my practice, well, I have two. One is to prevent people from getting burned out. I do work with a lot of business owners, and burnout is a very severe problem with people who are trying to build a business. It's stressful. It's hard work to build a business. I know that for a fact from my own personal experience. And most business owners are at very high risk for burnout. And the problem with that is that once you have burned out on something, you can't ever go back to it. That's what the term burnout means. It means something's burned out. You're done. You can't bring it back to life. So one of my missions is to prevent business people from burning out and to keep them where they can make a big impact in the world, because that's the real problem with burnout, is it takes good people out of where they can make a difference. I'm also very, very motivated to keep as many moms and dads home with their children as much as possible, because the American family needs to be strengthened and not fractured. And one great way to strengthen American families is for moms and dads to run home-based businesses or their own business where they have flexibility with their time, flexibility with their finances, and the opportunities and the choices to be able to contribute to the economy of their own household and also honor very, very important parts of their lives with their family, their children, and maybe parents or siblings or whatever. So those are the things that motivate me. Those are my missions, and that's when I work with people, when I reach out to people, that's what I'm really trying to do, those two things. So I'm going to let you know, I'm going to reveal these secrets here in a couple of minutes, and I want you to know that I had to figure every one of these out for myself as well. It's not like just, I knew all this stuff going in and I'm teaching it to you because I knew better. I learned it the hard way, just like I guess everybody learns stuff that's really valuable. So, I tell you that because sometimes people make the mistake that thinking that because I'm a psychologist that I leapfrogged over certain things, and I really didn't. It's true, I do know a lot about like human behavior and that sort of thing, but when it comes to building a business, my learning curve was so steep I can't even tell you. And I was actually pretty bitter about it when I realized that I was $60,000 in debt in student loans, and not one thing that I learned in graduate school taught me how to build a business and actually be a viable, part of the economy. And so when I finally realized that I needed to do, learn basic marketing and, how to communicate to people so that they want to purchase from me and work with me and learn all that sort of stuff, I was mad about that for a long time. And then finally I just realized I really had to overcome that mental block in my head that somehow I shouldn't have to figure all that stuff out. I did. And once I let my pride get out of the way, quite frankly, and put my ego to the side, and I just decided I'm going to learn what I need to learn to make this happen. Otherwise, I wasn't going to be able to make an impact in the world. And I was just going to do the hard work that I was bitter that I had to do, but I did it anyway. So here I am. And I'll say that, my practice started small, which was by design, and as my kids got older, my practice got bigger. And ever since I had my first client, which was about, I guess, 3 months into opening my practice, I've never been without a client. So it's worked out pretty well. Okay, I also want to tell you on the upfront here that I'm at the end of this webinar, I'm going to give you an opportunity to work with me more deeply in some of these, in the 5 different secret skills that I'm going to be uncovering for you in this webinar. You'll know what they are. You'll get a lot of information today, actually a ton of information today. And when you're ready to take that next step and actually implement a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about, I'm going to give you a way to work with me to do that that's very affordable and really kind of gives you some concentrated time to implement this stuff and to make a huge impact, and this is important, a huge impact in your business over the next 6 months, really. It's a great time of year right now to really dig down and do some very strong fundamental foundational work that will set you in a very strong position going forward over the next 4 to 6 months to have some pretty massive growth if you do some key things right now. And so that's my goal, is to help you do that. And so let's just dive in. Okay, so before you can do that, you do need to know what these 5 secrets are. And by the way, these aren't really secrets. I should tell you that they feel like secrets, because somehow when you're trying to build your business and you start to look at people who are really successful, whether it's in your business, your industry, or another person's industry, you look at those people and you think, oh, you know, how can I get to where they are? How can I do what they're doing? It seems mysterious, or at least to me, it seemed mysterious. And so I think that's why the word secret applies. It feels like these really successful people are doing something that feels like it's a mystery and unknowable to the rest of us. And in my process of learning this myself and then ultimately teaching it to other clients, I realized I understand why it seems mysterious, but it really isn't once you just kind of remove the veils and you can see, oh yeah, it's actually not mysterious. So I'll use the term secret in the title. It's really not a secret. It feels like a mystery. It's not mysterious at all. It's actually very, very basic. And so one of the things too that's important to know is, and I know this for a fact, you have everything you need right now in order to have any level of success that you want. And you might think to yourself, well, gosh, Anita, you don't even know me. How do you know that I have everything that I need? And I'll tell you, if you managed to figure out how to watch me on your screen right now, then you have everything you need to build a really successful business. Okay? You don't lack anything. You really do not. Now, there are certain skills, and we'll teach them today, but that doesn't mean you lack something fundamental or something basic. You have everything that you really need. And one of the metaphors that I like to give to people is it's kind of like back in, let's say, 2nd or 3rd grade or 4th grade, whenever they teach long division. Okay, if you can remember back to when you were in elementary school and you learned long division for the first time, and you'll remember long division is where they use that, you know, funky little symbol to help you figure out how to divide this, you know, a big number into an even bigger number, and how to work that process. It feels very intimidating, and a lot of people shy away from doing long division because it seems really, really tough. But really, long division, all it does is it takes skills that everyone had mastered up until that point, and it just uses those same skills in a different way and in a little bit of a different format to achieve long division. So when you use long division, you just have to learn how to place the numbers in the correct spot. You're doing some subtraction, and then you're bringing numbers down, and then you're doing a little bit of division in your head, and then you're putting numbers in a particular place up on top of a line, which you can do. You knew how to do that. You know how to write numbers. You know how to put numbers in right places. You knew how to do that. And then there was more multiplication and a little bit more subtraction. And all it was just, you know, multiplication, subtraction, bringing numbers down, putting numbers in the right place. Those are all things that you learned, and you probably learned fairly well before you did long division. Long division didn't involve anything else other than what you already knew how to do. You were just learning how to use those skills that you already had in a different way. I hope that makes sense. And that's all that business building is about, and removing the secrecy around success. It's using skills that you already know how to do. You know how to talk to people. You know how to have a conversation. You know how to pick up a phone and talk to people. You know how to meet new people. Okay? You know how to have basic conversation back and forth. You know how to generally plan out your day so that you get important things done. You may not be perfect at that, but you know generally how to do it. I mean, if you can get through your day, you have all the basics that you need, right? So you know all that stuff. You have all the fundamental basics to build a business. It's just learning how to use those skills that you already have that are basic skills, and just learning to do them in a different way to apply them to building business. You may not be used to doing that, but that's why you're here. You're going to learn how to do that. All right. So I hope that makes sense. You have everything that you need. Okay, so don't think that there's something that you lack, or that there's something different about you that you can't have what you want. None of that's true. All right, we're going to find out why. All right. First secret number one. So you might want to have a pencil and paper, and you can take notes electronically if you want. I'm actually more of a fan of writing things out. There's a lot of research that shows that people learn better and you retain more information when you physically write things down. So I'm going to suggest strongly that you do that. I'm not going to require it because you have to do what works for you. I'm a big fan of writing things out. And I actually have some notes here, speaking of which. I handwrote some notes. So if you see me referring to here, I apologize, but I just want to make sure I keep all the information and make sure that I get it to you. Okay, the first secret is that you want to learn how to talk to your ideal client or customer. Okay, secret number one. You want to learn how to talk adequately and effectively to your ideal client or customer or potential team member. And by the way, I'm going to use the terms client, customer, and even team member here interchangeably as synonyms for each other. Please know that all the things that we're going to talk about today are going to apply to you getting any kind of customer, client, or attracting different team members if you are in a business industry that where part of your success means helping other people become successful. So you can apply these same techniques to potential team members that you might want to bring on to your unit there. So I'm going to use those terms kind of interchangeably. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to learn how to talk to your ideal customer. Now, why is this? There's a saying, and it's so true in business, that if you're talking to everybody, then you're talking to nobody, okay? And what that means is if you are trying to be everything to everybody, then nobody's hearing what your message is. You're being too generic, too vanilla. You're not standing out in any way, shape, or form. You may be likable, but you're not commanding attention, and therefore you're not really commanding a sense of authority or even respect because you're blending in too much to the background by trying to be everything to everybody. I don't want that for you, okay? I want you to be successful, and the only way to be successful is to be really clear on who it is you want to be your customer, client, or team member, okay? You want to have very just crystal clear clarity on who your ideal customer is. And a lot of people don't like the idea of what's called niche marketing or finding a niche, and I'm going to have to tell you here, you're going to have to get over that. Finding a niche, identifying a niche is extremely powerful. It doesn't mean that you only have to work within your niche, but it does mean that you want to be so clear on what that niche is that you can talk to them in a language that they're going to hear. So let me give you an example. When you watch television, and by the way, I strongly suggest that you look at things that are being advertised around you to understand how advertising works, how marketing works, why do you purchase what you purchase? What do big companies use? What techniques do they use to try to grab your attention so that you purchase what they want you to purchase? What are they doing? And then you can imitate some of that stuff and use it in your own business, your own practice. So, okay, if I want to buy a minivan, and let's say Ford, Chrysler, Honda, whatever, they want to sell me a minivan. They know that most people who are buying minivans, who their market are moms, okay? So when they advertise, they know that they want to appeal to mothers of children. And the way they do that is they talk about things that are in their product that most mothers are going to really latch onto and say, oh yeah, that product solves a problem that I have with my vehicle. I need more space, or I need flexible space. I need a lot of cup holders. I need a lot of places to put stuff. I need something reliable. I need something with a lot of space. Something that has automatic doors, so if I have a whole bunch of grocery bags, whatever it is. And the point is that they know that about us, that I'm a mom, and that's what I'm looking for. They know that. And so when they advertise, they're going to make sure that they talk about the things that they know are on my mind as a mom and what I am looking for when I'm thinking about a vehicle. And you can contrast that with, let's say, the companies that are selling pickup trucks, like the big, tough pickup trucks, the Fords and the Chevy pickup trucks. That advertising is completely different because they're not selling primarily to moms, right? They're selling to men, a particular group of men. And so you don't hear about how many cup holders are in pickup trucks. You don't hear about the electronic lift gate in pickup trucks, because that's not what the target market of pickup truck buyers cares about. So Ford and Chevy and GM, they don't talk about those things because that's not what their ideal customers want to hear about. So they don't talk about them, okay? You can use this whole same process and idea with your ideal client. So what that means is that you want to get very clear, who is your ideal customer? Who are you selling to? Who do you want to buy from you or use your services? What do those people look like? Okay? And in the Business Breakthrough Remedy, actually, that I'm going to be doing next week, and which is a workshop, it's like a boot camp style workshop, I give people a whole bunch of questions to ask themselves to give them clarity about who their ideal client, customer, or team member is. You want to know, what keeps these people up at night? What is the problem, the exact problem that they have that you have a solution for? Because as a business owner, you need to know that's what you do. You provide solutions to problems that your clients, customers, and team members have. That's what you do. So you want to be really clear on knowing what those problems are that those customers have, potential customers. Because if you know what those problems are, you can say, oh, I know what problems you have, and here's a solution for that specific problem. Do they have issues with their skin? You know, is their skin dry because we're getting older? Do they have fine lines and wrinkles around their eyes? Do they struggle with weight loss? Are they having digestive problems and you sell supplements that can help that? Are they so rushed by making their dinners that they could really benefit from having some quick and easy recipes using really tasty food options that you have access to? Or are they gourmet cooks? Do they really enjoy cooking and you're selling cookware, right? You want to really know down to the as minute level as you can, what are the problems that your ideal client or customer is experiencing. And then once you know that, it's almost like magic, because you can say to them, I understand what problem you have, and I have this solution for that specific problem. So you can talk to them instead of saying, for instance, let's say I have here, just as an example, here's a highlighter, right? Now, if I were going to sell this highlighter, I could say, I have this great highlighter. It's yellow, and it will just highlight any information that you think is important. And I could say that, you know, no problem there. But let's say you're a student and you're in college and you really are interested in learning, and I know that, and so I can say, if you struggle with learning, if it's hard for you to get through your notes and remember what was more important than something else, and while you're reading, if you really struggle to remember what were the important things while you were reading, you could probably benefit by having something just like this. It will help you remember exactly what's most important for you to learn and what you don't need to worry about learning as you go through your studying. Okay? That's a huge difference between saying, hey, this is a great color and it'll highlight anything important that you want to remember. It's a big difference. So if you can talk specifically to the pain point that your ideal customer has, and you can specifically say, I know what you're grappling with, and here is a specific solution for that specific problem. Wow, isn't that powerful? So it all starts, though, with being very clear on who do you want to sell to? Who is your ideal client? Who is your ideal customer or team member? And what problem can you solve for them? And like I said, I do have a whole bunch of exercises that you can go through to figure that out for yourself, because it's not always easy. You think you know, but when you start really asking yourself, well, okay, how do I find these people then? And you might think, okay, that's where things start to kind of unravel. You're like, well, maybe you don't know them quite as well as you think you do. It really helps to drill down and figure out who these people are so that you can speak very, very directly to them. Okay, so secret number one is learning how to talk very deliberately to your ideal client, customer, or team member. Okay? All right, secret number two is you want to learn how to listen and connect very deeply and meaningfully with your customer, client, or team member. You want to learn to listen and connect very deeply with your ideal customer, client, team member. Okay. What does that mean? Well, when people have conversations, well, let me back up. First, what you need to know is that people are inherently selfish, really, really selfish. And it's for a very good reason. For instance, I only have access to what's going on in my brain right now. I can't know what's going on in Maria's brain or what's going on in your brain. I don't have access to that, right? You don't have access to what's going on in my brain. So that keeps us selfish. That keeps us very self-focused because we only are aware of what's going on in our own brains. That's fine. We're all like that. But then when you bring two people together and they're trying to have a meaningful conversation and each person is only kind of interested or really understanding what's going on in their own brain, they're not really able to understand what's going on in the other person's brain unless you make a concerted effort to find out. And that's where the secret is learning how to find out what's going on in the other person's brain. And you can do that by developing meaningful connections by listening to them. And what does that mean? Again, in the Business Breakthrough Remedy workshop that I do, I take people step by step in teaching how to listen very deeply and very meaningfully to another person so that you make sure you're understanding them. Why is that important? Well, let me tell you. If you're coming up to a potential team member that you would like to recruit onto your unit, or a potential new customer, and you want to try to help them solve whatever problem they have with your product, my gosh, if you make them feel heard and understood, no one else in their life, I guarantee you, is making them feel heard and understood. But if you do, oh my gosh, they're just going to be thrilled. They're going to be thrilled that you're listening to them and actually hearing what they have to say, and more importantly, caring about what they're saying. There's a very big saying that, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And one of the ways that you can display to people that you care about them is listening to what they have to say. So that when you're in a conversation with someone, they're in the back of their mind trying to figure out, what am I going to say when that person stops talking? They're focused on what their own conversation is going to be, what they're going to say. They're not thinking about you. By the way, I guess there's not comments. Maybe you're having difficulty actually sending comments. If you send me some emails instead, I can try to address some emails. I don't know, Maria, we can try and handle it that way, so I apologize for that. Anyway, if you want to be very, very have meaningful conversation with someone else, the first thing that you want to do is stop worrying about what you're going to say once they stop talking. Listen to what they're saying, right? You're going to make them feel very, very special. Here's how you can know that this is true for yourself. Think about a store or a business that you went into where you had horrible customer service, where you encountered horrible customer service, or just disappointing or lackluster customer service. Why is that a big deal? Well, if you go in and you don't have good customer service, what does that make you feel like? It makes you feel disregarded and dismissed, that you're not respected, and certainly you just kind of feel like they don't care about you. So what do? You don't go back. You don't go back unless you have to. And that does happen sometimes, but you don't like it, all right, because you don't feel respected. You don't feel cared about. However, when you do go into a business where there's great customer service, think about why it's good customer service. Because they are conveying to you a sense that they care so much about you as a customer that they're going to do whatever they can to make you happy. And you know that. You know that when you go into that place, they're going to listen to what your needs are. They're going to make you feel taken care of. They're going to anticipate your needs even in some way, shape, or form. And if there's a problem, they're going to fix it. That is really, really powerful. You need to start doing that in your business, okay? Make sure that you are making other people feel really, really special. The way that you do that is by learning to listen and connect with them at a very deep level. And that means, quite frankly, putting your own mind, thoughts, issues, whatever, to the side. You have to take yourself out of your own mind entirely and place your entire focus on the other person who's talking. That's not a natural thing for most people to do. You have to learn how to do it, and there are steps that you can learn how to do, and we'll dig deeper into that in the Business Breakthrough Remedy next week, because it's an important thing to do, and it's a powerful thing to do. It can improve all the relationships in your life, by the way, not just something that not just your business stuff. When you learn how to listen very deeply, everyone around you will feel heard and feel validated, and wow, are they going to feel cared for and cared about. Can you imagine how powerful that could be in a business situation? Oh my gosh, okay? So hopefully you can understand why that's a big deal, and you'll want to learn how to listen really deeply so that you can provide that kind of service to customers. They're going to be dying to work with you. Why not, Okay? So that's secret number 2, learning to listen and to connect very, very deeply. So secret number 3. And this was a big one. This was probably the one that challenged me the most because I really didn't understand how important of an issue it was. And that is that you need to learn how to lead your business, how to be a leader and an effective leader. And what does that mean? Well, you're probably a business owner, okay? I'm a business owner. And as a business owner, you're the leader. You're the CEO of your own little empire, however big or how small it is. You're the CEO. You are the leader. Most people don't think of themselves as that. They don't conceptualize themselves as a leader, and so they get caught up in the management of the technical parts of their business, the selling, managing things, managing inventory, bookkeeping, all that sort of stuff, and they don't lead their business, and it's a huge difference. When you think of yourself and learn to shift your mindset from just kind of someone who does, who sells skincare products or who sells fitness equipment or supplements or kitchenware or whatever, into someone who leads a business that fulfills the kitchen needs of the average American person, or whatever it is that you kind of elevate the whole thing to. It's a very different mindset, and here's why that's important. Remember, you're a leader, whether you think of yourself as one or not. You are. And a leader has a lot of really important roles. It doesn't matter what you're leading, whether it's a huge corporation, a nonprofit somewhere, your household, or your business. A leader has a lot of important business jobs, responsibilities. The most important one is that a leader has to set and hold the vision for the organization, whatever the organization is, no matter how big or how small. The vision. What does that mean? The vision is the purpose for your business, why your business exists, or your organization, does not matter what it is. Why is it around? What purpose does it serve at a high level? Now, a lot of my clients, their businesses are very personal to them. In some way, shape, or form, they actually intersect somehow with their business, their purpose for being alive at all. And so their business's purpose and vision actually kind of weaves into very nicely with their personal vision for why they're here on this earth. And so you can actually achieve two things at once by figuring out what the purpose for your business is. You also can figure out what the purpose for your life is and how they mesh together very nicely. And that's important because you know what? If you're asking people to buy from you, or if you're asking people to join your team, people are much more likely to follow a leader who's very clear on where the leader is going. People don't really want to follow someone who's wishy-washy or someone who doesn't express any interest whatsoever in figuring out what the end point is. Who would want to do that? That would be the same as me coming up to you and saying, hey, I'm going on vacation next week and I'm so excited, but I don't know what to pack because it's the time of year where it could be, the weather could be all over the place. So I'm kind of concerned, should I pack a bathing suit or should I pack a jacket or maybe both? And I'm not, and I haven't quite figured out if I should drive or take the train. And there's an outside possibility even taking a plane might be the best thing to do. But then, of course, you have to rent a car and, there's all that sort of stuff. So I can't quite figure out what I want to do. But anyway, I'm really excited. Hey, you want to come with me? And if I invited you along on that vacation, what's the first thing that you would ask yourself? Where's she going? Where are you going? I'm not going to tell you if I want to go till I know where you're going. So imagine a leader, you, of your business, and you're inviting people to purchase things from you. Imagine if you can tell them, you know what? My business, the purpose for my business exists because I want to transform the lives of as many American families as possible by providing excellent products in this particular area. And that's the vision that I have for my business, is to transform families in this way, with this opportunity or with this product or service or whatever. And then you're automatically telling people what your vision is, what the purpose for your business is. It's not just about making sales. That's important, but the sales fit into a larger context that's very meaningful, very powerful, very compelling, and therefore makes you quite magnetic, okay, as a leader. People love to follow other people who know where the heck they're going, all right? So as a leader, you want to stand out. You want to be bold. And as part of the Business Breakthrough Remedy next week, that's what I'm going to be teaching people how to do, how to figure out what that vision is, what that purpose is, how to state that boldly, and how to separate yourself from the crowd. Because you know what? I think that that's kind of scary for a lot of people. I've worked with a lot of business owners over the years, and people get very nervous when they realize in order to be really successful, you have to go first. That's what leaders do, and you have to automatically separate yourself from the crowd. If you feel like you have to wait for people to agree with decisions that you make, or to say, oh yeah, if they have to somehow sanction what you do or what you want to do before you move forward, you're not going to be successful ever, really, because you're not differentiating yourself at all. You're not separating yourself from the masses, and so people won't be able to see who you are, what you stand for, what you provide, and why they should even follow you. If you're still in with the crowd, why should they follow you? Why would they want to? But by being able to articulate what your vision is, what the purpose of your business is, in ways that are very compelling and, again, will make you sound very magnetic, you're going to start attracting a different type of person to you, okay, both as customer, client, and as team member. So it's a really powerful thing to know what your purpose is, what the purpose of your business is, both of those things actually, and then to articulate it in a sentence, because that's who does that? People don't do that. So when you do come across someone who's very clear on where they're going and why they want to get there and why it's important, wow, you know, you can see how attractive that would be for other people to want to say, you know, I want to go along where she's going. I like what she stands for. I want to participate in that. Make sense? Okay. Let's see here. Secret number 4, and I'm keeping an eye on the time because I want to make sure we don't go more than an hour. So secret number 4. Now this is a big deal, and it is how you want to learn how to manage your time and your focus. Okay, so secret number 4 is how to manage your time and your focus. Now, I know there are some people who are hearing me say that and they want to break out in hives when they hear the phrase time management or let's develop a schedule or whatever. Some people just really hate it, and other people like me thrive on hearing things like that. And what's interesting is that I've worked with people for 25 years now in various capacities, and time management is a big deal, and is a big deal for therapy clients. It's a big deal for coaching clients, and it's a big deal, I think, just anyway. If you go into a bookstore or on Amazon and you see how many books are devoted to teaching people how to manage their time, it's a huge deal. People want to know about how to do this, and I get that. But you know, through my career, I've noticed that there's a certain percentage of people who I'll go through the standard, you know, these are the procedures that you go through to learn time management strategies and how to develop a schedule and stick to a schedule and all that sort of stuff. And we go through the textbook stuff. It works for me. It's worked for me my whole life. And then the clients kind of go away. They try it for a couple of weeks and they come back and they feel lousy about themselves. They ask me, you know, Anita, what's wrong with me? I can't stick to this schedule. It looks like I should be able to, and I just can't. What's wrong with me? I hear that a lot. And I'll be honest, for a couple of years early in my career, I started to think, yeah, what is wrong with these people who can't stick to a schedule? Because I don't have trouble sticking to a schedule. You just follow these steps. What's the problem? But it is a problem, and what I've realized, finally, over the course of the past several years, it's really plagued me because I hate when people come to a coaching session and they ask me, what's wrong with me, Anita? I hate hearing that phrase from people because there's nothing wrong with you, okay? But I didn't know what to tell people because I couldn't figure out what the problem was either. because there's all these experts who say, and even myself, this is how you manage time, and they couldn't do it. I don't know what to tell them. So what I've realized, though, is that there are two very distinct ways that people perceive time, and I want to say maybe 30 to 40% of people perceive time in a way that makes it nearly impossible to stick to a schedule comfortably. I'll say comfortably. They can force themselves to if they have to, but it will never feel natural or comfortable or easy at all. Okay, and that's about 30 to 40% of the population. It's a lot of people. The rest of the people can generally kind of structure their time and stick to schedules, and really they thrive with the classic time management stuff. But then there's this other group of people who just don't. And that's the group that, they'll come to me and say, what's wrong with me? Well, okay, here's the deal. So the people who are like me, the way I perceive time is I see time as like a tool. It's something that I use to get something else done. So just like you would use a hammer to hammer in a nail, I think of time as something that I can use to accomplish something else. Okay, so time is very linear to me. I think in terms of, okay, well, between 8 and 8:30, I'm going to use that. I even use this language. I'm going to use that half an hour to accomplish X, Y, Z, A, B, C, and then from 8:30 to 9, I'm going to jump in the shower and whatever, and then 9 to 10 is this. So I go in a very linear fashion, and I say, okay, this hour is going to be used for that. That hour is going to be used for this, and whatever. And then there's this other group of people, and when I'm saying things like that to them, I know it's like I'm speaking Chinese. They understand the words that I'm saying, but they don't get it at all. Because for those people, time isn't something to be used. Time is something to be experienced. Okay? So these are people who may be late, for instance, for things, not because they can't tell time or because they're deliberately trying to be disrespectful, but these are people who if you're supposed to meet them at 9 and they get there at 9:15, and they might recognize that you're upset, but what they'll tell you is, what's the problem? I'm here now. Let's just do what we're going to do. And they don't understand about that 15-minute lateness. They really, they understand it intellectually, but they don't get why it's important, because they don't see time as something to be used. Time is something to be experienced. So a couple of weeks ago, I have to find it here. There's an advice column in our local paper. It's called Ask Carolyn or something like that. And there was a man who wrote in. He was an elderly gentleman, I guess, and he had had a lifetime of grappling with this issue. He clearly is someone who saw time as something to be experienced, not to be used. And so he just was writing in this letter, I guess, after years of just, being irritated about this whole thing, and he needed to write this letter. And I just wanted to read a little bit about why he was so upset, about everyone who got upset with him for being late, and how he thought about this. So just as a kind of a snippet here, he said, I know I have struggled with lateness the same way others have struggled with more blatantly damaging qualities. So he says, I have been tyrannized by the absolutists, meaning people like me, just the same as they think they're inconvenienced by the late arriving. How often have I arrived punctually at a meeting only to think, I rushed for this? I could have driven more cautiously, not been so rude to that old guy, not have indigestion, edited my email more thoroughly, read that article. So he says, I often find people are more concerned about the schedule than the occasion. And right there, that sentence defines the difference in how different people experience time differently. So for some people, time is about time and what how you use it. Other people, time is about the experience. It's not about the minutes on the clock and the hour on the clock. And it's just really, really different. So when you're building your business, it's important that you understand which of those, and you can, of course, have elements of both. Most people do. But it's really important to understand which side of the fence you fall more on. So if you cannot make yourself stick to a schedule, then stop trying. And what I tell you to do is, instead of thinking about having a schedule, think about having a structure to your day or your week or whatever makes you feel comfortable. What's important is that you get things done, okay? And the way to get things done is to have a general structure. Think of your week or your day as like a scaffolding. and make sure that you do planning time. And I don't care whether you're like your schedule or you prefer structure. It's all about planning out your day. When I plan out my day, I do it by the half hour, the hour, or whatever. When other people who experience time, who time is something to be experienced, they plan out their day by just saying, okay, these are the 5 things I know I need to get done today. They don't worry about when it's going to happen. They just want to start flowing through their day, and they just know in the back of their head, or they're going to have on their list, I know I need to make sure I get this done. And it's not about when or how much time it takes. They just know they're going to get these 5 things done, and they decide that early in the morning or the night before. And that really helps them get things under control. And again, during the workshop next week, we'll dive into this and figure out how to really get control of your focus, because there is no such thing as time management. We don't manage time. We all get the same amount of time. We can't manage time. What we manage is our focus. What are we concentrating on? What are we paying attention to? And more importantly, what are we not paying attention to? And that's our power. That's what you're really learning to manage when you're trying to manage time and get a schedule or a structure. Okay? So I hope that makes sense. I think we're having some problems with the comments, so hopefully no one has any, pressing questions, and I'm just going to push on here and get to the very last secret, which, is kind of a big deal for most people, and that is you want to learn how to control the negative thoughts and beliefs that you have about yourself and your potential and your ability to grow your business and create your preferred future. You want to learn how to control those negative thoughts, okay? That's a big problem for a lot of people, most people as a matter of fact. And what I want to tell you is that it is my opinion, and I've worked with a lot of people, that the hardest thing in the world to do is to learn how to really control your thinking in a consistent way over time. It is really, really hard to do. But if you're plagued with thoughts like, this is, I can't possibly achieve what I want to, I'm not the sort of person who can have success, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve this, how stupid am I for even thinking that I could be good at this, those sorts of things. They're all lies, and you need to learn to tame them. And the first thing that you can do, and I can't possibly in the next 5 minutes, make them go away, but what I want you to do is to be very aware that those thoughts that are going through your head are in fact lies. Humans have this really funny quirk or quality that just because something pops into their head, they automatically believe it. And they don't question it, they don't ask, hey, where'd that come from? And they don't say, hey, does that belief or that thing that just popped into my head serve my highest good or not? They don't ask themselves questions like that. They just believe it because it's in their head. And so if the thought tends to be something like, you're not good enough. Okay, yeah, I guess I'm not good enough. I better stop even trying. It's a lie. A lot of what we tell ourselves are lies that we've picked up from childhood, whether it's from, our parents or people who are important to us or just random people that we encounter, along the way. It's really, really tough to learn how to override them and to not let them dominate you so much, but it's really important that you start that practice. And that is another thing that we'll work on in the Business Breakthrough Remedy next week, because it's a big deal. I want you to be successful. I want you to stop lying to yourself, and I want you to really connect with how powerful you can be and what your potential is. It makes a difference. It makes a big difference. So those are the 5 secrets, and like I said, they're not mysterious. They're not true. They are things that you kind of know probably that you've come across. You just maybe you haven't put a lot of effort yet into figuring out how to master them. And as I've alluded to throughout this hour, that's what my goal is with the Business Breakthrough Remedy. So what I've done is I've taken a workshop that I used to do in person, and I'm going to bring it online in a webinar format. And it's going to be 5 hours. It's across 2 days, September 10th and September 11th. And I'm going to have 2.5 hours each day from noon Eastern till 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time on both days. And we're going to dig deep into all of these secrets that I talked about today, each one of the 5, and I'm going to give you very specific exercises that you can do to get clarity on each of these secrets so that you can move forward. And I've built in some implementation time for each of these units or modules, really, so you will have time to actually implement the things that I'm teaching on. So it's not just going to be me lecturing like I am here now. It's going to be very, very interactive, and you're going to get the opportunity to ask questions and to get my feedback. And here's the important thing, is that if you are interested in doing the Business Breakthrough Remedy, I'm going to urge you to sign up very quickly. In the next 72 hours, we have put up an early bird pricing of $97. And I'll tell you what, that's a tremendous value for 5 hours of really big content and implementation time so that you are going to get your questions answered. You're going to make progress during those 5 hours. It's going to be huge, and you're going to set a tremendous foundation for growth over the next 4 to 6 months just by putting in those 5 hours. And if you sign up in the next 72 hours, you're going to save $50, believe it or not, off of the regular price. So it's only $97, but like I said, only for the next 72 hours. So when you go over to the page where you can click on the link and register for this, the Business Breakthrough Remedy, what you'll find is if you put in the code early bird, the words early bird, all one word, it's cap sensitive, so you want them to be all lowercase letters, early bird, you will get the $97 early bird registration fee, and you'll get an email with all the information that you'll need in order to participate and all that sort of stuff. I'm going to have worksheets for you to fill out. You're going to be able to get live laser coaching with me, live like this. So you're going to be able to come with all of your questions, all of your biggest obstacles, all the things that have stumped you for a long time, and I will get you coaching on it. And we're going to really delve into each of these 5 modules that I talked about today, these 5 secrets, and you're going to get clarity on all of them, and you're going to emerge with just a sense of empowerment. You're going to be more likely to be seen as a leader, more likely to be seen as someone with authority and with expertise in the business or service that you provide. And therefore, you're going to be really, really magnetic for your potential clients, customers, and team members. So I am very excited to bring the Business Breakthrough Remedy to the online community in this world as a webinar. It's something that, like I said, I did in person. It was very successful. I got some great feedback. Over the summer, I actually took the opportunity to revamp everything, so probably about 80% of it is new content, which is kind of fun for me too, because I get to teach on new stuff. And I'm so excited because I've seen it make a huge impact in so many different people's lives and their businesses. And I can't wait to help you with your business, and I'd be more than honored to do that. So I urge you to go, click on the link, go on over. If you want to even watch this webinar one more time, you'll be getting a link with this recording, so you can do that if you just want to make sure that you have a good grip on these 5 secrets and that you're really ready to take it to the next level, to drill deep and go down and really get a good foundation with these secrets, uncover them, make them not secrets anymore, they're not mysterious anymore, so you can move forward. And I really am looking forward to working with you. So we don't have, well, I guess the comment question thing is kind of not working at the moment, so I apologize for that. Hopefully no one's sending me emails because I don't have my email up. I just realized now too. So it's another tech glitch, so I apologize for that. And we're just about out of time. We're at the hour mark. So I want to thank you so much for being here with me today, and I hope that this was helpful for you. These are secrets that if you master these 5 things, the sky is the limit for you. I mean, there is absolutely no way that you can, hold yourself back by uncovering these for yourself, revealing what the truth is, understanding that it may feel mysterious and may feel like it's secretive and that it's something that only the super successful people know. Not really. You now know these things, and so you can move forward. So I very much look forward to working with you in the future, and have a great day.